Now, here in Nigeria, there's been a major political development with the former vice presidential candidate of the main opposition People's Democratic Party, Ifeanyi Okowa, defecting to the ruling APC party. He was the running mate to Atiku Abubakar in the 2023 general elections. Mr. Okowa, who is also a former governor of Delta State, said he was moving alongside Governor Sheriff Oborevwori to attract more federal presence and development into the state. The two leaders are said to have been accepted as joiners into the All Progressives Congress and not as participants. They are to be formally welcomed into the APC on Monday in Delta State. The Commissioner of Information in the state says the decision was made by party leaders and stakeholders. Correspondents say with this defection, the unbroken governance of the PDP in Delta State since 1999 has now been broken. Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by Arise political editor and director of news, Sambo. Good to see you, Sumner.
Thank you so much, Charles.
How big a political earthquake is this? Because it's not just the governor, but the former governor, and both of them announcing their defection on the same day.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, the entire structure of the PDP in Delta State has been moved into the All Progressives Congress. That means the cabinet, the governor and his cabinet, and local government chairman, and all of that, several political players. And don't forget, the APC had arrested Senator Ned Nwoko not quite long into the APC. And as it stands right away, the PDP defectors are calling their former party a sinking boat. That's according to James Manager, one of the longest serving senators.
Well, I'm going to come to the PDP in a minute, but what do they mean when they say that they are being accepted into the APC as joiners and not participants?
All right, that means they are being given the highest level of reception. Vice President Kashim Shettima is going to be receiving them on Monday, like we've been informed. And this means that they are going to be regarded as part of the foundation members of the party.
The very fabric.
And and the structures is such that the governor will be given a very good welcome, and it won't be like he's just joining like a fresher. So they are collapsing the entire structure to receive probably almost like the entire structure too. And this is where the APC will actually be in trouble in Delta State, because former Deputy Senate President Oborevwori has been, who was a governorship candidate of the APC in 2023 election, had been fighting through the back door to prevent this from happening. Because I mean, with the governor's entrance now, of course, the governor will be given a first right of refusal if he's going to contest for the ticket or not. And of course, definitely he will be contested. And then Ifeanyi Okowa, being a former vice presidential candidate of the major opposition party in the country, and of course, former PDP presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar, this is a very huge loss. And of course, someone like that wouldn't want to defect without setting guarantees. So it's like when you're collecting loans from the bank. So there are setting guarantees, like irrevocable standing orders that must be signed. And so with all of those things being penned down, that's why the entire structure is being collapsed, because they've also been given setting guarantees that once they get there, certain structures of the party will be handed over to them.
So for the APC then, beyond the Omoagege's obviously, challenge to him, I mean, how much does this boost its national election chances in 2027?
All right, Charles. The key major players in the south of the country when it comes to winning elections are three swing states of Lagos, Delta, and Rivers State. And now Lagos is in the hands of the APC, Delta State is now in the hands of the APC, and we hear that the suspended governor of Rivers State, Sim Fubara, is also moving to the APC. And once that happens, it means that the South is almost in the kitty for President Tinubu ahead of the 2027 general election. Because these three key swing states in the South actually determine how politics is played, because they are rich in resources, they've got a lot of population, there are very huge votes that come from these states. And so if you have all the governors supporting the president, and then you add in the fourth leg of it, Akwa Ibom, say the oil-rich state of Akwa Ibom, where the governor has endorsed President Tinubu, I mean, Yeah, President Tinubu will look like he's going to go to sleep. But of course, I mean, politically, he still has to stay awake. But this is a very huge win. They are bringing a lot of resources. They are bringing a lot of voters potentially to the APC. But my only problem is for some foundation members of the APC. Like, for example, in Delta State,
there's going to be disgruntlement.
Yeah,
basically.
Ortega Emero has been there, building this party. And then, of course, you had people like Great Oborevwori joining. And then, of course, you had people like Oborevwori Agege, like I said. And then, of course, Festus Keyamo, too.
But I would imagine that there would have been some consultation.
There will. But the
place.
force of a governor, when a governor is moving into a political party, is such that once the governor moves in, he comes with a lot of structure because the resources are in his hands. He has a lot of influence and all of that. And considering that this is the first time that PDP is losing Delta State and not at the ballot, but the governor defecting, since we returned to democracy in 1999, Delta State has always been in the hands of the PDP.
Absolutely.
So for this happening, it's like a golden gift being given to the APC. And this is happening with a vice presidential candidate of the major opposition party coming with it. I mean, it cannot get bigger than this.
Absolutely. So for the APC, the thrill of victory; for the PDP, the agony of defeat. What's it going to, how damaging is it going to be for them?
Well, for the PDP, I mean, it actually speaks of how Atiku Abubakar himself has not been able to manage the crisis within his party. Because if Ifeanyi Okowa, his vice presidential candidate, is actually moving, it's a vote of no confidence on the sort of politics being played by the presidential candidate of the largest opposition in the country. And it means that the coalition that he's building, even his own political followers, do not necessarily believe in that. And so the question will now be, what exactly does Atiku want? If he's unable to get his former vice presidential candidate to actually believe in his ideology, he's unable to settle the rift in his party, and his party has lost a huge state like Delta State, people will begin to question the democratic credentials of Atiku Abubakar, and those who may want to build a coalition ahead of 2027 with him will start asking questions. Come on, let's draw back a bit. What exactly is going on? And so it actually speaks of the kind of politics that we're playing, but also is the fear of a one-party state. And if Nigeria does drift into a one-party state, it will actually affect the sort of democratic credentials we have in the country. And that's why I keep advising. The president is coming from progressive politics. And he's always been someone who has been in the opposition for a very long period of time without defecting, saying that he will stay in the opposition and win. Now he eventually won. If he's driving Nigeria into a one-party state, what sort of a Democrat will he be? I mean, we'll also question the sort of political credentials and democratic credentials of President Bola Tinubu, if indeed he wants Nigeria to be a one-party state. It's good for his victory and all of that, but overall, internationally, it doesn't look so good. You need a viral opposition to be able to also help you to keep your own government in check and provide alternative views and ideas. So it looks good for the APC ahead of 2027, but democratically, there should still be a very strong opposition. The PDP shouldn't be allowed to die, or other political parties, and the democratic atmosphere must be made, easily available for the opposition to meet.
Sumner, thank you very much indeed. Sumner Sambo is Arise political editor and director of news.